everybody, welcome to my channel. Tonight we're going to be playing Blades in the Dark because of Nathan, because he's awesome and said he would run it for me. And we got this wonderful cast together, but I'm not going to speak for them. I'll let them speak for themselves. So for once I get to be a player, so I'm going to take this and hand it over to Nathan and say, it's your floor, my buddy, so go for it.
Thank you all. Well, welcome, scoundrels, to Blades in the Dark. I had a group of people that were lucky enough or naive enough to say, "Yeah, we'll play this game we've never played before. Sure, sounds good." I'm really excited about it. It is a good time. So I'm Nathan Bailey. I use he/him pronouns, and I will be the GM. What we'll do is go around and introduce. I have a Nat in here, of course. We'll introduce each other as people and who you're going to be playing, and then we'll probably jump right into Blades in the Dark. Who would like to go next? Introduce yourself and who you be playing. Sneaky scoundrels, I see.
I was having a heart attack at one time.
So I'll go. Hi,
Okay.
I'm Michael. If anyone happens to know me, it's from the RPG Academy podcast, and we also Twitch stream and YouTube and all that kind of good stuff. And I am playing Sky and Squeakers. Squeakers is my truffle pig. He's the cute guy over my shoulder.
All right, who's next?
I'm Hannah. You can find me on Twitter at Stop That Old Woman. And I am playing my character's name for this game is Miss Fritter. And she also goes by Pie.
All right, thank you. And who's next?
I guess I'll go. Hi, everyone. I'm Kylen, otherwise known as Kyle with an N on Twitter and Twitch. Today, I will be playing Cordelia Claremont, alias Nyx, who is the Whisper playbook.
Hi. If you're here, you probably have seen me once or twice here. I go by Josh, or you can call me Saevrick, either one, at Saevrick on Twitter. I run games sporadically as my whim so demands. Tonight I'm going to be playing Brother Elias, who is a preacher man, taking with the spider background.
All right, so welcome you all to a cold, nasty, rainy, foggy night in Duskfall. For those of you who don't know, Duskfall is a city on the edge, a city in kind of like London or Prague, Mumbai, Shanghai in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Very, very steampunky, very on the edge of technology, but yet cut off from a lot of the world. The world itself has been plunged into darkness, creating chaos and destruction in a lot of areas. And we find ourselves in a large city, for the most part, where people go about their daily life. And then you have other characters that want to make a living for themselves in maybe not so honest way, or they're forced to from whatever reason that you can come up with. This is where we find our group tonight. We have a group that has been formed and maybe has done a few jobs. You all have stuck together, a group of sneaks and thieves who prey upon those that would take advantage of others, and are able to with their powers actually do something about some of the wrongs that are in the world. We find ourselves in an old Victorian mansion in the ward called Six Towers in Duskfall. Six Towers is one of the oldest wards. Used to be very rich, very ritzy, 3-story mansions, big colonial Victorian towers throughout. But it's fallen on hard times. It seems that people wanted to move in other locations and move away from this centralized area, and have moved on north or east, depending on what their hearts desire. So Six Towers has fallen into a bit of decay. The streets are wide, they're paved, but there are cracks in the pavement. When you look at the houses, they don't look as good as probably what they should. There's paint peeling and shutters that have been fall down. Some roofs are caved in here and there, and you find a lot of houses and places that have been bought up and purchased for tiny apartments or any number of things. we find basically one family rules here in Six Towers, and that is that they're the Rowan family, one of the old money families. They got their money from Leviathan hunting the deep kraken that the sailors bring back to uh, to extract the electroplasm from. Sorry, my words. Good. Um, to extract the electroplasm from in order to heat and light up the city. Again, no sun, so the light that comes in is usually from the lightning barrier that surrounds the city hundreds of feet up in the air that keeps the ghosts and the things that go bump in the night out. Um, our citizens are able to make do on their own, either through coal or some kind of little fire. If you're lucky enough to get some electroplasm a little bit here and there, they're able to run that. But it's very, very not quite modern, and yet has touches of modern. So we find our group here in one of these old Victorian houses. It's cold. There's got to be several drafts from this third floor where you all have plotted and planned. I see you all are maybe around a table lit with candlelight in several locations, poring over maps and information. What you all have been able to do is go out and find some information about the Rowans and about what the knight's caper will be. It seemed some weeks ago the Rowans finally made a play for your area. They bought up a bunch of the houses for cheap. They swindled people out of their hard-earned savings or the houses themselves, and are planning on making this whole area into small apartment type houses and charging way too much, doing things that just the community itself is not good for. But there's no one else that can stand up to them. There are only you. So on a personal level, you know that you need to go in and get the deeds, take care of the Rowans once and for all, by any means necessary, in order to secure your lair. But also at the same time, there's an air of helping the people of Six Towers. You want to live in this area, and you want to make sure that you're treating them right as well. So they do the same. So as the camera pans in on this dark, cold, foggy type room, who would it pan on first? Who is leading this conversation?
Well, I suppose I'd probably have the best connections, given the circumstances. So let's see this camera coming on to Preacher, who is pretty well the stereotypical, just the black coat, the wide-brimmed hat, and much like myself, the graying beard, who's just sort of sitting back with a cigar in one hand, waving it around as he's speaking. Can we challenge the validity of these deeds? Were they signed over? Will we have any issues with the Bluecoats regarding this?
Well, Preacher, now I know you may not like this, but I may not have burned all the bridges with my noble contacts. Perhaps, maybe we can scrounge up some dirt on them. Cordelia says she is a very small, delicate-looking woman who is like almost engulfed by like this kind of like giant Lolita like dress that she wears, very pale, like a porcelain doll, and like long white hair.
So Sky will lean in. I'm absently kind of petting Squeakers behind the ears. I actually have a pig toy that squeaks that I play with him, but at this point it's probably too loud, so I'm trying to keep him at bay. I look pretty much like my cousin Vinny when he's wearing the piano outfit. So it's like a reddish tuxedo with the long tails and like a puffy white shirt. And actually just kind of look a lot like him too. Let's go with that. I don't think it's a matter of validity. They use the law against these people, so it's legal. But if it was legal, we wouldn't be here.
Y'all know that these people can just do whatever they want, and law and order is subjective to their whims. Miss Fritter has the appearance of being a very pissed off former lunch lady in her broadness and stocky build. Might even still have the remnants of a hairnet going on, but noted by the fact that she's weighted down in her armor.
It makes extracting the deeds a little bit harder, does it not? If they have the appropriate signatures, it's going to be hard. I can't just hand them back to everybody in the area. We're going to have to go right for the jugular involving all this.
Agreed. I also wonder if there's a way to replace these with other deeds, like out of character. I'm thinking like a trading places situation where we somehow like short sell and we come out to be billionaires on the other side, but I don't understand how that movie works. But maybe there's a way so they don't know the deeds are actually gone right away, but when they try to use them, they don't show what they think they show. Because if we just burn them, I'm guessing they've got copies. There's other legal ways around that. We can't just make them disappear. I don't think that'll work.
Sort of flick one of these large ashes off the side of the cigar. I say we have one of two options, maybe both options regarding this. We have the lovely Rowan family, who's probably just so overburdened with so much money in their coffers. It'd be a shame to relieve them of it. And secondly, we have a bunch of deeds which, too, weigh them down so much. I think we could relieve their conscience and relieve them of both things at the same time. And perhaps if we're feeling gracious enough, maybe we'll sell them back to us with their own cash, of course.
Well, that sounds like an excellent play.
Don't want to be completely heartless now, do we?
That sounds like the Lord's work to me.
Indeed.
All right. So out of character, what do you all think that you want to do? I hear a couple different things, so I want to make sure that I understand. What is it? What do you all want?
In my eyes, what I see us doing would be to both take not only their money, but these deeds as well.
Mm-hmm.
So once we have both, we can buy the deeds back off of them legally using the money that we abscond with.
I got you.
So they will, of course, sell them at a premium to us. Got to get a deal in the end. But they'll have some money, so maybe won't get completely trashed in the eyes of all the other gangs around us.
Okay. So it sounds like we need to, we're going to be doing a stealth mission to go in and get or a mission of some kind to go in and get these deeds. Will this be stealth or social? How do you all want to play this?
Squeaky, squeaker, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
I am not a stealthy person. I don't know about the rest of you. Do we have a good stealth person here?
I could do a little of both. I'm definitely more kitted to be social, I think.
As am I.
I think this would be a great Kansas City Shuffle moment in that we are talking to them about one heist, but actually pulling off the other simultaneously. So social to me would just be the right way to go, with a little bit of stealth underneath.
Okay. All right. So let's cut to where we are. I guess would that include letting them know you're going to be arriving? How is this a case where you're going to come calling at their door?
So I guess we can assume that these Rowan family probably have their fingers in a lot of pies.
Absolutely.
So possibly, maybe they've heard of Squeakers. Is one of the most amazing truffle pigs on all the Duskfall, and maybe I can try to entice them into going into business with me. And so that's our reason to be there, is I'm trying to set up this business deal, which I'm going to make these most outrageous claims and they're never going to go for it, but that gets us in the door. There might be other options, but obviously I want to involve squeakers if I can.
Of course.
Perhaps there are some very stupid younger members of the Rowan family that don't have the wisdom of their elders that would buy into this more easily than other people. And they could be the gateway into, oh, Daddy, look, I found this great business opportunity for us.
Are they like the social, like throw-in parties, tea time gatherings type, or are they more of a
So for the most part, they have not been, but with a little bit of information gathering, you may find out that has changed. And if you all want that to change, then it changes. So they will be what you need them to be. Yes.
I'm just saying there is nothing sexier than a masquerade ball.
Well, what about this, Nix? Again, Nathan was saying that this is an area that used to be kind of opulent and it's sort of on the slide down. Maybe the Rowans have a building, a plaza that we could maybe rent from them to throw this party. So we're asking them to host this thing. So we go to their place and invite them as well. So we bring in a bunch of people, which can help sow confusion. So we can have a masquerade party. But I don't know if that works or not, but I'm just thinking maybe that's a way to bring them in. So they think they're going to get money from this from us. But then, of course, we're going to pay them with their own money we steal later.
Is the word on the street, are they going to be doing renovations, tearing these down completely to rebuild?
So what they have been doing in the past is they've been buying up buildings and chopping them up and making them into small apartment type houses and cramming as many people as possible in there.
So they're going to need a well-licensed crew to come renovate these buildings for them. And proof of owning the property at the same time could be, perchance, step into that position for them to at least secure these deeds.
I think that's definitely a way to get in the door. Is that what we want to do? I'm down for it. All right. So what we're going to do now is everyone is on their individual character sheets. You're going to pick their load, which is how much equipment they're going to be bringing into this deal. What you feel like, what role you're going to play in this construction company farce is up to you. And so you'll pick that. It sounds like we're going to be doing a social. So we'll need to talk about what connection. Who do the Rowans know that you know that can get you basically your names to them? Feel free to grab the names that are on your right on your character sheet, your friends and enemies. You pick one of those as well. More than welcome to.
Okay, so do the Rowans perhaps consort with witches, demons, vampires? Because those are my connections.
I don't think I don't think that's their normal clientele. I'm not sure. Doesn't mean that they haven't, but I don't think I don't think that's normal for them.
I happen to know a person named August who just happens to be a master architect.
There you go. All right. So what is their name?
Augus. August.
August. All right. So August, you reach out to August, and he is probably, you probably find August walking one of the buildings, one of these older buildings, as he has actually done some work for them. You're able to track him down, and at some point in time, probably run into him on occasion, although he doesn't know why. And he says, "Preacher, it has been a long time. How long has it been?"
Oh, too many whiskeys in between, that's for sure.
Or not enough.
Well, it just so happens I carry my own personal brew with me. Would you like to sit and have a little dialogue with me?
Well, I'm always up for dialogue as long as it involves whiskey. Sure. What do you have going on?
Looking to get into the real estate business. In a sense, more of renovations, maybe flipping, but heard there was some prime, delicious property opening up. Really interested in getting my hands on it.
Well, now around here, the Rowans have bought up everything, but they've bitten off a lot more than what they can chew at this point, so they're trying to just slog through as they can.
Yes, and they're going to need a master negotiator, not only for the supplies they're going to need, but the manpower to build these constructions. And I think I might just know someone who can help them with it.
You do you? And I guess that's where we're kind of fade out, with you basically talking him into letting you, basically giving you the social connection to go see the Rowans. All right. So I'm going to roll an engagement dice. Where we find ourselves is the team does your plotting and planning. Again, this will come out throughout the score. Remember that you all can do flashbacks at any time to introduce new things into the storyline anytime that you want. If you find that you are you're stuck, or you're like, I wish I had this, do a flashback. You now have it. So that can come up whenever. This is all pre-planned, and you all basically know what's going to happen from start to finish. We find you all at the door of the Rowan estate. It is very different from a lot of the other estates that you find here. It looks like a medieval castle. It looks like it came from somewhere else and was just planted here. It has a moat and a drawbridge and everything just like an actual medieval castle. The word on the street was that Rowans were always just a little different, wanted some architecture that was a little different, and wanted to stand out, and they surely do. So I'm going to roll the engagement roll, which for chat, this will be the only time I actually roll anything. But this will show us where we are in our scene. Sorry, let me get my sheet. So engagement roll is, I start with 1 die for sheer luck. We talk about, is this operation particularly bold or daring? I would say yes. Does the plan detail expose a vulnerability or target? I would say probably not. And can any friends or contacts provide aid or insight? I would say yes. If I'm remembering correctly, so that's 3 die. If I remember correctly, Preacher has a special ability that makes me roll an extra die as well, correct?
Let me look here.
I think that was on the engagement roll.
Let's see. I gain 1d for consort and gather information to target, and 1d to engagement roll, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to be rolling 4 die. So let's talk about information gathering as well. Throughout the score, if you want to ask specific questions, questions that you think your character would add, we'll roll the gather information. You'll tell me how you gathered that information, and I'll provide it. Pretty easy. Some of the questions that your character, kind of the mindset are actually listed on your page under gather information. It's like, what does someone intend to do? How are they going to do it? How can I find that kind of stuff? So if it's basic knowledge, world knowledge, that of course does not gather information, but everything else will gather information along the way. All right, so I'm gonna roll 4d6. I just rolled and I got 2 6s. 2 6s for those playing our home game is actually a critical score, is a critical success. So that means that you are in a very controlled position. I think we find ourselves, I think as you go to meet with the Rowans, what they have done is they are actually walking out now. A couple of the junior members. It is going to be, Colburn and Jayanne, and I'll write those down. So Colburn and Jayanne. And they're both probably grandchildren of the most senior member of the Rowan clan. And so they're coming out on a carriage. They have a couple of guards with them. And the people you're going to speak to are actually coming out towards you right now in a huff. The drawbridge comes down, and you're kind of standing there waiting to be let in, only to have them come out. And they say, Colburn is a good-looking young man, a little bit on the bookish side, and looks at you all and says, "I'm sorry, were you here to see us?" Yes, you are the crew that August sent, correct?
Most assuredly.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And she'll hold out a dainty little hand for them to shake.
He shakes it, and then the Jan is a younger woman, looks like a twin. She says, "We're actually on our way out. We're going to visit one of the homes that we just purchased. Would you like to come with us?"
Do we know where these these titles are physically?
They're all around the Six Towers area. So they say what she says is Jan says it's the one right over there, but I don't like to walk any farther when I have to. And she actually points like a block down the road. She said we're having some issues inside, and I would love to get your opinions on them.
I'm asking as a player.
Yes.
They have titles for these buildings, obviously.
Supposedly.
So I would assume at least that the titles would be at least in storage somewhere, safe, secured, and not on the physical properties themselves.
I would say that they're probably on the physical property. They probably are there are deed offices and things like that, but people tend to keep things close to the vest here, and they feel like their power is pretty much absolute at this point. So I'm going to assume that they may have to register them in some way, but they're there. They would not let these get into someone else's hands. They don't trust, again, when everyone's crooked, you don't tend to trust anybody but yourself.
Well enough. Okay. Well, I for one be overjoyed to look over these properties. I have quite the repertoire for. I just went brain blank. Sorry
Construction?
about that. Yes. I have quite the many ideas of what I could do with these properties, not only make them appear more reputable for the area, but at a very low cost. Maybe get some of these more, some of these sewer rats off the streets and provide you with a little better income for your properties.
So Colburn kind of gives Jan the elbow. It's like, yeah, see, we look at them. They're going to help us. We're going to be rich. And then Grandpa and then she kind of cuts him off. It's like, shh. So they said, yeah, let's go ahead. No,
sorry.
You're good.
So those two are going to ride in like a carriage, even though it's like a block away.
Right. Exactly.
All right. I want to see if I'm going to kind of make it obvious that I'm holding a cute pig,
yeah,
and hope that one of the two will show some interest. My goal here is I want to get the pig to ride in the carriage with them, and then use my mind link to listen into what they're saying.
Okay.
While we're not there.
Okay. Yeah. So Colburn Colburn looks down and goes, "Is that a truffle pig? Is that?"
It's not a truffle pig. This is the truffle pig. It's Squeakers. You've probably heard of him.
I believe I have.
Oh, you definitely have. Because we're going to do a quick flashback where I'm going to make sure that Squeakers has come across their desk somehow.
Okay.
So can we get something in the paper? Like we'll find out what papers they read.
Yeah.
And I'm going to we'll pay someone to put an article in there about the amazing Squeakers truffle pig.
All right, so that sounds like an action. So let's. What would you like to do to perform this? Action? Is that? Are you going to talk someone into running an article on Squeakers? Are you going to deliver flyers yourself? What would you like to do? How would you like to do this?
Ooh, that's a great. Well, I have a dot and sway. So would that be something I could convince someone to run an article?
Sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff. Change attitudes or behavior with manipulation or seduction. Manipulation, hopefully. So absolutely, I think that's something you can definitely do with a successful roll.
Okay, so yeah, I want to just try to have a contact or someone I will meet coincidentally in the streets that writes for the local paper and get them to do a big write-up on Squeakers.
Okay.
Which shouldn't be hard because he's a effing adorable pig.
Yeah, he's adorable truffle pig.
So how do I do that?
Okay, so what we're going to do is if you'll click we're also in roll 20 for everyone in chat. Click sway.
Done.
This is going to be it's going to be controlled.
Got
the
it.
position is controlled because nothing's going to go wrong here. And
Let's hope.
then the effect is going to be standard.
Okay.
So basically you're trying to talk someone into it. They don't see any harm in it. So like, yeah, sounds good to me. Let's write about a pig.
All right. Any bonus?
So there's going to not be any bonus die right now.
Okay.
So
I
a
got
4.
a 4.
A success. So again, 1 to 3 is a failure, 4 to 5 is a success with complication, and a 6 is a success, true success. It's a 4. So it's going to be, yes, what happens is Squeakers definitely gets put in the paper front page in the area as finding truffles and being sought after. And yet, what the complication is. You know what? I think Squeakers has become like internet famous, and so everyone wants to buy Squeakers.
You got to check the Insta. I mean, he has so many followers.
The pig talk. So Colburn goes, that's it. We need that pig. We need that pig. How much for squawkers? Squeak. What is it?
It's Squeakers.
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 How much?
This pig is priceless. This is literally a member of my own family. Like,
I would sell my
pig.
family anytime for the amount of coin. I mean, I don't understand.
I would sell your family too, but I will not sell my pig. At least, let's talk as we go. Let's get to the house. Let's do things at once.
Okay, so let's do this. I want to make sure the pig is in good shape. Before I purchase said pig. So let's bring the pig in the cart. I'll kind of talk for a few minutes and then we'll meet you over there. Is that okay?
You're reading my mind.
Okay. All right. We're down this alley. All right. So Colburn seems exceptionally excited about Squeakers. And as soon as you put Squeakers into the cart, he's like playing with Squeakers and making little squeaking noises and doing that kind of stuff. JN is more serious and it's kind of like, it's a pig. It's okay, sure. So what happens is, you all, they kind of take off in the carriage. You can actually see the building, so you're right there, no big deal. As you all start to walk up, in your mind, I guess you hear, how is it that you communicate with Squeakers?
So one thing, we're going to walk really slow to give them as much time as possible. But one of the abilities I have is the hunter class. I have one of 3 options I can pick with my animal. One of them is called Mind Link. I looked it up today, and it says that I can speak telepathically with my pig. It doesn't go on to say if that pig speaks English or understands the concept of like time. So I don't know how much information I'm actually going to get from this, but my hope is that I can almost like eavesdrop through the pig and I can hear what it's hearing or, read its mind as it's hearing. So even if it doesn't understand what it's hearing, I will.
Yeah, I think that's probably the better way of doing it is you see what it is, but it's not thinking. It's not sentient. Like the pig is not plotting and planning with you. It's just kind of there. So you get the sense that Squeakers is uneasy being away from his family, their family. Excuse me. I don't want to assume their family. And so, but they're watching, and basically Colburn has taken the pig and is scruffing the back of its neck and petting it. And he and JN are talking, and they're mentioning, this is a good time. We don't know what we want to do with these homes and these houses. Our foreman has left. We are way behind, and before the grandparents come back, we only have 3 turns of the cycle before we have to get these done. We haven't even, Jan basically tells Colburn, we haven't even set the deeds out yet because we don't want anyone else to know that we're doing this. This has to be done now. Okay, so that's kind of what you get. Which, by the way, what does Squeakers look like in a perpetually night, perpetually cold duskfall? What does a truffle pig look like?
So Squeakers looks exactly like the pig over my shoulder, except he is also wearing the piano tuxedo situation like I'm wearing. So we have a matching.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. I wouldn't expect it any other way. All right. So you all ambly stroll over. And basically what happens next? We won't roll through all this, but you all walk through the property. They're showing you things and trying to be as cordial as possible in a business type deal, expecting here's what you would expect. Basically like you would walk through a contractor. So that's kind of what it goes. And the time comes when they're talking about so what kind of timeline are we working with here? When could you all get started? They look around.
Where we're at right now, is it a quiet area by chance?
It is in one of the houses. So you have construction. Definitely there is construction that has gone on. It's pretty quiet. These are 3-story, like 3 or 4,000 square foot houses. You're probably deep inside one of those. You could be narratively wherever you want to be within the house as you bring up this conversation.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael.
You go right on ahead, sir.
I was just asking questions for our GM, that's all.
Well, I believe that we would have to check our availability, as of course, our services are in quite high demand right now. But I'm sure we could work something out. You two do seem to be quite lovely, and we would love working with you.
So I'm going to almost like absent-mindedly, almost like I'm just now realizing it. But we do have that other job pending. I think I don't know what a cycle is. Is that a day? Is that a month? Is that a year? What is this?
It's I just made it up as we go along. I was thinking like a 10-day. So
perfect.
Whatever.
But I think for like the next 3 cycles, we're probably busy. I mean, I can't imagine they would want to outbid the other people that already have contracted us, but and I'm making sure they can hear this, but I'm trying to talk to Nick as if I'm talking low, like, I feel like these are the type of people that they're going to want us more if they have to pay more for us.
Yeah. So Colburn immediately almost like hears that, says outbid. Yes. I mean, that's not even a question. Yes. So why don't we do this? Why don't we retire to the house, see if we can work out a contract and get this kind of signed together. Yes. But is that an issue?
I don't see it would be an issue myself, personally. Of course, we'd have to require that we have a contract for all the properties, correct?
Well, yes. We'd want to get this done as quickly. And JN kind of butts ahead. It's like, let us talk about price and availability. But yes, we would definitely want multiple properties. We couldn't just have you doing one and then down the road doing others. We would definitely want to, if we could employ you for a longer period, we would enjoy that. Yes.
Excellent. So I'm going to look at Miss Fritter. Do you have any particular thoughts? You're the true brains behind the operation, so I want to speak for you.
Miss Fritter has been observing, specifically watching the dynamic between these 2 children, and seeing Jayan's place in this noteworthy as a noteworthy opponent. She pulls a book out of her bag and kind of just hands it to Jayan and says, "We will figure all of this out, but you need this for you." And it's a copy of probably a banned book, or at least an underground book, I would say, in this society. And it's a copy of How to Win Friends and Beat Your Enemies into Submission, by Norman Vincent Peeler. And she just kind of slides it over to Jayan and says, I think we can work this out.
Okay. So that sounds like an action. What would you like to what would you like to roll to do that?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, are you commanding her to do this? Are you consorting with her like she's an old friend? Or are you trying to sway her with deception?
No, it would be more consorting.
Okay. Do you have consort?
I do.
Okay. So remember, at any time you can push yourself for more die. You can ask for an assist from somebody, or you can ask for a devil's bargain. Those are all things that we're doing as we're going along. So would anyone like to assist you, or I don't know how many pips do you have? No, you're
It's
good?
just I just have one pip, but this is not a big deal.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
Would it count as an assist if I just try to keep Squeakers and Colburn somewhat distracted, so it almost feels like they're having a private conversation?
Yeah, I think so. I
That's
think
nice.
yeah, I think so. That
Okay.
we could either do an assist or set up if you want to roll something to basically kind of pull him to the side. But definitely the rest of you all can kind of do that. I think, you know what? I think that's such a good idea. That's an assist. Okay.
I mean, that's the Squeakers.
yeah,
we
yeah.
get a free Squeakers on this.
You get that Squeaker's assist. All right. Anybody with an animal gets a free assist. All right. So go ahead and Miss Fritter, go ahead and roll your die and then add 1 at the end. This is because of your situation. This is controlled, and then the effect will be greater.
Greater. Okay, that was what I was waiting on. Awesome. And you wanted me to roll it with a +1?
+1 die for an assist.
Okay.
Yes.
That does not look good.
That's bad.
That's bad, right?
That's
You assumed she could read.
They banned. Oh, they don't like banned books.
she. Okay, so that is a consequence. Again, we've talked about anyone. You can always resist a consequence if you choose to. What happens with resistance is you tell me, Nathan, no, what I'm about to say doesn't actually happen. I'm resisting. You take 6 stress minus what you roll for your resistance check. So this would be resolve, resist consequences from mental strain or willpower. How many pips do you have in the first column of resolve? So do you have 1 in attune, command, consort, and sway? How many of those do you have at least 1 pip in?
3 out of the 4.
Okay, so out of the 4, you would be rolling 3 die. So that's a pretty good way of getting higher, basically a higher roll, which means less stress. So is that something you'd like to do? So let me tell you what she does. She immediately looks at the book and goes, that book, I read that book a long time ago and found no worth to it. I thought you all were more. I thought you all were of higher class, but I guess not. It is going to go bad for you if you try to continue if you have continued conversations with her. Is that something you like to resist?
Yeah, let's try to resist that.
Okay.
I don't want that to happen.
No, we don't want that to happen. All right. So go ahead and roll. If you click on resolve.
Okay.
And then no extra die.
No extra die.
Yep. A 6. So
I got a 6.
You take no stress. So had you just rolled the 1, you would have taken 5 stress. So that's the chance. So tell me what happens instead. She kind of looks at it and
she looks at it, and as she kind of flicks the front cover open, she realizes that the inside of the book is been carved out. And inside, where you might like hide like a weapon or something, instead there's just like a bunch of condoms. So like, I don't know, that just happened. I forgot that's where I put those. So they were just
she flips over, is like, interesting, and closes it back very quickly. Interesting.
And I can just kind of like, if she wants to like kind of push it back towards me, I'll take it, and we just won't say anything. And
she kind of does that.
Yeah.
You may need this more than I.
That's fine.
Good thought though. I appreciate that. So Jan kind of goes, it's getting a little stuffy in here. Shall we, maybe we retire? And kind of starts walking toward the front door again.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think I would like to gather information. Is there anything that is hidden or lost here?
Ooh. All right. So how would you find this information? What would you do? What would you roll in order to find information about this? And it could be something like study. Maybe you study the architectural ruins of this, architectural plans of this place. Maybe it's survey. You're looking around and you see something that is not quite right. It could be one of the physical abilities is you're just, while they're talking and passing out books of assorted whatevers. You're just picking at stuff and moving things around.
Okay. Yeah. Either study or survey is fine. I have
Okay.
a pip in either of those.
All right.
I guess we'll do more of a, I guess like a survey, I guess.
Yep, a survey is just a quick glance around.
Oh wait, whoops. That is not the button to roll it. Okay, so do I just roll risky?
It's going to be risky and standard. Yep.
Okay. Nope. I certainly don't see anything.
Well, time to get all these ones out. So yeah, as you go to look around, Colburn kind of butts in front of you with the pig and is making the little pig noises, like, look at his little snout, look at his little snout, he's so cute, look at him. And as you're trying to like peer around and actually look at what's happening, Colburn just keeps going, look at him, he's so cute, he's going to be mine. They don't even know it, he's going to be mine.
Isn't he just so precious? I say as I go to pet him. And is there a way that I can subtly summon a ghost? Or is that more of a, I got a whoo hand
No,
gestures
definitely.
and-
I mean, if you want to, you would like to summon a ghost?
Yeah, my plan is to, while everyone seems to be distracted, get a specter to kind of maybe survey like this house to see if there's anything pertinent to our mission that we might want to
Absolutely
take.
So I believe that's going to be an attune roll.
Yes.
As you look into the ghost field.
Yeah, and hopefully everyone is distracted enough to where they don't notice a ghost. So I'm guessing risky standard.
This is going to be risky standard. And what does it look like when you attune? When Nyx attunes and kind of looks around to see the ghost field, what does it look like?
I think that maybe she has like a piece of jewelry on, like maybe a nice ring or like a pendant or something that she kind of like rubs that is more like arcane in nature and helps her kind of like channel. So I think she's kind of like absent-mindedly doing so as she's talking with Colburn in order to kind of reach out to a spirit and perhaps entreat their services.
Okay. Sounds good. So let's roll. It's going to be, again, a risky and standard.
Oh my gosh! This is a mess!
So for chat, that's another 2 1s. So far, we've only rolled 1s except for the one time. So it's gone real good so far.
Wow.
So I think what you find is that as you go to reach out, maybe this actually answers 2 questions at once. You find that your attunement is blocked. It's almost like there's not a way for spirits to get into the house. So there's just none around you. Either something is in this house or around someone that is making them flee.
Is there a way that I can resist that to see?
Well, sure.
If I can get one, and then also kind of figure out what's up with that as well at the same time.
Okay. Yep. So I think that's going to be a resistance from insight is resist consequences from deception or understanding. So you're trying to understand what in the world's going on.
Okay.
So do you have any pips in the? Well, you've said you have study and survey. So
yes. So I have those 2 pips. So I can just click the insight and
click insight. Yep.
Okay. And no bonus dice.
No bonus die.
Okay.
5.
Well, that's better.
So you're going to take 1 stress, and you see that as you're trying to look into the spirit field itself, it seems that Colburn is wearing a ring that is shielding this area around him from spiritual activity. So you kind of, as you walk away from him, maybe you walk into another room, or as you go to walk out the front door, you could feel that attunement come back again and see that there are ghosts around here.
Okay. So by that same token, now that I'm able to summon something, are they able to find anything else in this place that is hidden or noteworthy?
What they there's a spirit that kind of comes in and says that they would look.
Okay.
They're fairly incorporeal, but still maybe one of the reconciled that still has their same abilities. The spirit comes in and just says, "Yes, I will look." They know you from other jobs and in this area, so you're still known. So we pick up, I guess, as everyone is moving back towards the manor itself. Did anyone want to do anything before you all left the manor?
So I wanted to again maybe do another flashback that we knew that Colburn had a Spirit Bane ring,
Okay.
and when I go to take Squeakers from him, I'm going to switch it with a fake.
Okay. So how would you have known that Colburn had a spirit ring?
That's a great question, and I don't
Maybe.
know. Maybe Nyx would know.
Yeah, can I? So I have my background is in nobility, so
Right.
there's a possibility that maybe one of my noble contacts probably has some like goss on
Okay. Yeah.
some hot goss on the Rowans, and it's like, oh yeah, Colburn's like way superstitious, big weenie, has lots of wards and stuff.
All right. Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. So okay. Yeah. The flashback. That's the flashback you get, and Sky, you see on his hand, you recognize it immediately as you go to get Squeakers. Are you going to try to take this thing off of him? You're muted. All good.
Sorry, but I want to actually replace it with a fake that we've already basically matched up, so he won't know, at least right away, that he's no longer protected. Because whatever he fears about ghosts, I want him to have full effect later of that being a problem.
Okay. So I think this is going to be a stress for you.
Okay.
To go back and kind of take care of this beforehand and kind of measure it just right.
Okay.
And so we're going to need some kind of physical. We're going to need an action roll in order to make that switch happen.
Okay. So how about finesse?
Okay. Yeah. Finesse is finesse an item from someone's pocket, hand, same thing. Okay. That works. Anyone going to assist? You going to push yourself or do a devil's bargain?
I was just seeing if there's some way we can distract him while that switch goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to see
I need someone else to like bump him because I'm already taking the pig, so there's reason for me to touch his hands, but I need him to not be paying attention to that. So like someone bumping.
I can totally bump into him. I'm a big old lunch lady.
Yeah, just give him a little hip check,
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to do a setup action or do you want to do a assist and take the stress?
I'll do an assist.
Okay, so mark down 1 stress for you. And then Sky, as you go to make this finesse check, you're going to add another die.
Okay, so what's my position?
It is, for right now, it's going to be risky. It's going to be standard. Yep, risky
standard. And you said 1 bonus die?
1 extra die, yep.
Okay. And roll it. 6, baby.
All right, so tell me what happens.
So basically I go to put Squeakers, like I'm putting my hands under the pig, so my hand and Colburn's hands are kind of mingling, and I pull the ring off as I start to pull Squeakers away, but then I pretend like I sort of lose Squeakers just for a second, so we both kind of go back under to make sure that Squeakers protected, and that's when I slip on the fake ring. Now, do I want to keep this ring? I'll look to Nyx. I would have already asked Nyx this. Do we want to keep this, or do I just want to throw it over my shoulder and get rid of it?
You can pawn it for some cash. I'm sure that would be worthwhile to someone.
Perfect. All right. It will get pocketed and none the wiser.
Okay. So yeah, as Colburn kind of comes up, he kind of shakes his hand and kind of moves his ring back down, just like you would if you were your ring got jostled. And okay, yes, wherever Squeakers goes, I'm going. So let's go back and have some drinks and see if we can't get this whole business worked out.
Unrelated, but I have a T-shirt idea. Moving on.
All right. Saevrick wants 50%. So just to let you know, it's on his channel. That's how it goes.
Fair. Totally fair.
All right. So you all end up walking back. I think Colburn this time actually walks with you and tries to make small talk in a way that someone who is so out of what goes on in the area doesn't understand. Like, he actually thinks they're doing a good thing by buying up these old houses and for these people, paying them pennies and basically turning it around and renting out their places back to them. He seems to think it's perfectly fine and a good idea. Like, he's kind of in that mind frame of, oh no, we're doing such good. And we all know they're not, but that's kind of his mind frame. He seems to actually think that.
I'll feed that into, like, I'm not going to correct him or have a different opinion. But oh yeah, I mean, these people are close to dead anyways, and then you can, like, these younger people can afford housing. It just makes sense. Cycle of life, man. Cycle of life.
That's yes, the cycle of life. That truly is how it works. So you find yourself down the drawbridge, walking across it. It looks like a medieval castle on the inside too. There's like stables where they put their carriages and their goats. By the way, goats pull carts in this setting. It's not horses; it's large goats. So they have, of course, the biggest and largest and nicest goats around. That goes and pulls in their carriage, and then there's a large double doors that leads to a inside their house. Basically, what we need. I mean, the main rooms are on the first floor. The bedrooms and things like that are on the second. It is a squat building with turrets, actual like turrets that people stand on. And you see that there are guards inside there, both human guards and what we call hulls, which are spirits that control machines, kind of matrixy. I don't know what, kind of like that.
So you're saying there's ghosts in the machine?
Yes. Oh, but we're gonna need 60% of that cut now, not 50. So yes, there are ghosts in the machines. These ghosts want to continue their life and choose to do it in machines, and you see them across the city. But the Rowans are actually keeping them as guards. So you end up entering a parlor, and they try to get down to business as far as talking prices and things like that. Who leads this discussion? And what are the rest of you doing while this is happening?
Not me. I'm just looking at my skills.
All right, that's fine. Anybody else?
I want to like maybe assist but not take lead, and kind of have like my primary role being I'm gonna continue to snoop, even if it's through arcane means. Just looking around and what have you.
Absolutely. What is Miss Fritter doing this time?
She isn't sure. I think she's kind of waiting to see sort of what Preacher wants to do and how he's going to, like, she'll take the lead if he doesn't, but she's definitely more deferential to him.
I'm trying to get an idea here of these two, who really calls the shots, because I haven't got like a clear understanding just yet of, like, I see that was it Jan,
Yep.
seems to be the one who seems to be a lot more logical but a lot more cold. So I'm not sure if her say is really what's final with the family, because I'm sure that they're going to come and to be involved in some way or another.
So why don't we do a flashback?
I was going to say, can we do a flashback to the carriage?
Absolutely.
Since I'm sure she's going to be riding in the carriage. She's not going to walk with us lowly people.
Right.
But if there's any way that we'd have one of these other people, I don't know what, because I feel like I'm the lead on this, and me talking to her is not going to have a positive effect on the outcome of it.
You know, I am quite tired. Somewhat of my build is just I'm not used to doing so much walking, and I am feeling a bit faint. Is it okay if I ride with you?
Yeah, Jan kind of invites you to the place that Colburn was sitting, and has their driver, which of course they have a driver who is leading the carriage and making small talk. She's trying to impress upon you how important she is and kind of what they're doing in a very serious way, trying to get business. But it doesn't seem like she may know too much about it. If you want to do a flashback, maybe we could have some way that Preacher or Miss Fritter or somebody got information to feed to Nyx.
Oh, I could do a consort flashback in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Okay.
Because that was my strong suit.
Okay. So what would you have done?
It's a very well-known family, the Rowans. So seems as if the younger ones are just now starting to get their feet wet in this whole business. What is the general vibe, I guess I'm going to say, for lack of better words, that the local gangs or whoever they work with has gotten from the relationship between Jan and Colburn. Like,
Okay.
who really calls the shots in
Yep.
this?
So let's roll it up and see what information I can get you. This
Okay.
is consort, so you're probably dealing with some of the local gangs and some of the local people that you know.
Right. I have weaving the web, which should give me an additional die, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, absolutely.
So if I hit my consort, this is going to be position what?
This is going to be controlled and standard information.
Standard and +1 die, I assume, for my...
+1 die. A 4. So it is. You succeed. You find information. It just may not be as good as what you want, and that is because the Rowan's are highly secretive. And up until 6 months ago, very few people had seen them outside of their medieval castle type whatever thing. They came out. They talked to a few people, and then they went back in. It seems like 6 months ago that changed, and they've been starting to buy up properties. The word on the street maybe is that some of the older generation that has been making the calls forever is not there, either temporary or permanently, and that a couple of the youngsters have taken over and trying to do things differently, maybe with or without the knowledge of the elder generation. So they have properties in other areas and other cities, and so people are kind of saying maybe that the grandparents that are still alive are out visiting something or out doing something else, and while they're away, Colburn and JN are kind of taking advantage of that and doing some stuff.
Is there any way I can push this a little further to gain something else? Because I want to understand a couple of things, if possible.
Okay.
One, if the grandparents aren't around anymore, who really has control of this estate? Because I have no idea between the two of them who's
right.
What, if they're elder, if it's willed out to someone else. I have no idea. Because I want to know who really is going to control this.
So let's let one of the other characters do that flashback.
Sure.
Mrs. Fritter, would you like to run that one?
Yeah, I can do that. We could say that Miss Fritter has pre-existing knowledge of the elders of this family, especially the way that they treat the women. Coming up, the boys tend to be regarded as the natural born leaders. And Colburn is just a raging disappointment, like all the men that have come before him. And Jan is not being given what's clearly her due, as all of the women that have come before her. So while Jan may be the one, and this dynamic has been going on for a long time with this family, and Miss Fritter's knowledge of the social knowledge of the elders has informed, and what she's observed between them is that while Jan may be the one who's most competent, Colburn's going to be the one who has the ear of the elders, and if something goes sideways, they're going to probably go with whatever Colburn wants to do, unfortunately. And I can roll something if you want me to narratively.
Yeah, I think, how would you have gotten that knowledge?
So I think that would have been social, like some kind of a social, how do I say it? It's kind of maybe like social secrecy, some kind of...
Yep. So do you have anything in consort?
I do.
So I think maybe consorting with close connections that know the ins and outs of the noblery and the
enough.
noble families. I think that's a very reasonable gather.
Sure.
All right. So this is going to be, again, it's just information, so it's going to be controlled and it's going to be standard.
Okay. And a 3. That doesn't sound great.
So yeah, that's all rumors. You don't know.
Ooh.
You that's what's been said. But this family, that was also when they were founded 100, 200, 300 years ago. It's kind of how it is. They've literally been out of touch. Some have said that they've not actually even been here very long. But that's not the image that JN is portraying. She's portraying the image that she's in charge and she's going to be making the decisions. That's what you're getting out of it. Now
Okay.
that kind of coincides versus what you actually have heard. So take which one you want. All right.
I guess my advice to Nyx would be is to make her quite aware that she really is the one here with all the power. And if she goes by what he says, their family's going to end up broke and is going to be renting the same properties that they're trying to get us to renovate currently. She needs to take some control out of this. Destroy the patriarchy.
So Nyx, how do you go about this?
I think how she leads with it at first. We'll start like kind of innocently enough and be like, the way that your brother Colburn is willing to throw so much money at a pig. It's quite something.
Yeah, she looks back, and of course Colburn is trying to get Squeakers from Sky. He's like, come let me hold, go back. You get the grabby hands, and she kind of looks back and it's like, disappointing, just disappointing.
Yes, it seems he is very weak-willed, prone to fancies and emotions. But I don't get that same feeling from you. You seem rather, well, pardon my saying, but rather what keeps the ship together.
Yes, we were thrown in a difficult situation and are trying to make the best of it. I don't even know where we'd be if Colburn was in charge, but we're trying to, well, I say the best for us. The people around here really don't matter. We need to matter within the great families again. We've almost been forgotten. Our elders
goodness.
have, yes, it is a shame. It is a shame. Our elders have cast us to the wind and stayed in this, and she kind of looks around, forgotten and dusty area. We need to get out of here, and
you poor
we need to move
dear.
up. Yes.
Certainly. I mean, have you considered, well, maybe liquidating your assets here and trying to own property in other places? Well, I'm sure that that decision would probably defer to Colburn, I'm guessing.
She goes to speak, and then as you say it defers to Colburn, she's like, no, it does not defer to Colburn. Yes, that is, of course, I haven't shared with him. And she looks back at Colburn, and Colburn again is doing the grabby hands at Squeakers, and goes, I haven't shared it with him, but that is the plan. Yes, we're going to get these together, put some paint on them, make them a little better, and walk away with a boatload of money. And by the time the elders well, we're going to do that. And she physically stops herself from saying what she was going to say.
It's quite all right. I understand. You see, I was once from a noble family myself, but we came across some very hard times. I understand how difficult it is being thrown into those situations. Look at me now. I'm with a construction company.
And she kind of looks down at your hands and looks at her hands like they're dirty, even though your hands are not. And she's like, yes, I see it's done a number on you. It looks so bad I mean, I shouldn't say that. I apologize. We have our eyes on this place in Charter Hall. It would be a huge step up for the family, but of course we can't afford it right now. That is kind of the background to this. I'm hoping to move up, and then when the elders come back, they will have a nicer place. That's the thought.
I see. Well, I hope whatever path you decide to take, well, I hope you put your foot down and not let Colbert take charge. After all, you seem to be the more rational of the two of you.
She just looks back again at Colburn, who's making squeaky noises, and is like, I can't let that fool in charge of anything. But we're here now, and kind of as the drawbridge comes through, come on in. Let's have drinks and let's discuss your contracts.
Forward to it.
So, A little time passes. We find you all probably in the parlor having drinks, discussing minutia and number of units and all that kind of stuff that you would normally be discussing. What do you all want to do? What happens from here?
Simple question being that do your grandparents need to be present for this negotiation? I'm not quite sure who owns these properties. I have not seen the deeds firsthand after all.
Colburn goes, no, we have the deeds upstairs. We have they're perfectly legal. They're perfectly legal. If you come across this and need to see the deeds, why do you need to see the deeds? I don't understand.
Well, any reputable company is not going to work on a property not owned by the individual that says they own it, obviously.
Well, obviously. This sounds like a call to action. What are you going to use to try to get him to show you the deeds?
Let me look here. Well, I have a sway. Let's see here. I have the command, I suppose, as well. Either one's really good.
You got, again, what it's going to happen is the consequences of this are just going to be different on what happens.
Let me use my command.
Okay.
And I'm going to back this up by saying the degrees of what could happen should an illicit activity were to be discovered by the Bluecoats, loss of property, of income, anything that would strike at his heart is, oh my God, we're going to be, one of those street rat people if we don't follow through it and make sure this is all legit.
Okay. Would you like to push yourself for an extra die? Would you like a devil's bargain?
Let me push it, I think.
Okay. So that's 2 stress.
Okay.
And you get an extra die from that.
This...
You can also get an assist from someone else if you like. You can do it. So you can do assists or setups and push yourself, but what you cannot do is you can't push yourself and do a devil's bargain. So if someone else would like to assist you, they can throw a stress on themselves and throw an extra die your way.
I'll do an assist.
Okay.
Okay. What is my position here?
It is going to be risky and limited. It may not quite have the effect you want. He's not just going to run up there and get him and show him to you, but he may be more likely to do that.
1 second here. Command. Position is risky. The effect is limited?
Yes, limited.
Okay. And I have 2 bonus dice, is that correct?
You have 2 bonus dice, that's correct.
Okay. Well, they're not 1s.
Okay, so it's a 4, so you succeed. But there's a consequence, and the consequence will be our first. I want to say pie chart. It's not a pie chart. Circle. Clock.
Clock. Yeah, clock.
Clock. There you go. I want pie.
You.
Okay. So, okay.
You rang?
Yeah. Not that. I don't want lunch lady. Okay. So. No. Okay. Moving on. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to set up a 4-turn clock, and it's going to be the clock is going to be that this is going to be Colburn gets his feelings hurt.
I feel terrible by that.
God,
oh
he's
no,
so
the
weak.
Phoebes.
And we're gonna mark it in 1. And what's gonna happen is if I mark this in, he is basically going to storm off in a childlike rage and end any kind of negotiation that you might have. No, stop. I love Roll20. Stop. Okay. So that's I'm just letting you know ahead of time. That's what's gonna happen. Okay? Pretend that piece of pie is marked in.
I'll pretend it's not being peed on currently. Correct.
I don't know what it is. It's okay. Just keep going. All right. So Colburn kind of looks almost hurt because you commanded him. He's like, "Yes, we have the deeds upstairs. If we get all this other taken care of, I'll show you the deeds. Sure, whatever. I mean, they're there. So what are the others doing? Nix, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would like to again attune and see if I can use like spirits in the area to kind of give me more of like a layout and like
Okay.
notable, especially if it pertains to like the deeds.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely. Okay. That sounds good. All right, so attune. I'm assuming you want to attune with spirits.
yeah. And I would like to push myself for an extra die.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's risky,
Risky and standard, yes.
standard, and then 1 bonus die. My gosh.
Yeah, as you go to look down, you see that one of those same rings is on JN's finger as well. So it's like, geez, I just got rid of the other one. Then I look down at her and she's got one too. So it almost looks like it's a family crest. Maybe it's built into their family crest, the rings that they wear. So you go to reach out to the spirit field and just, you can't see it outside the bubble. You can excuse yourself and walk around or go to another room, or for whatever reason you want to excuse yourself and try again if you like. But for right here, right now, it doesn't work.
Okay. Yeah, I will be like, excuse me, where are your facilities? I need to, well.
Yes, I understand. Down the hall, the third left, then a right, then through that hallway, another right. We don't like to be up close, so yes. So she tells you in the back.
Thank you.
All right, Sky, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm thinking that it's time for a bit of a flashback.
Okay.
And we found out the most recent property that they purchased and that the deed was being notarized or authorized, whatever the case may be. And we found a way to get some truffle oil sprayed on it. Okay. And so Squeakers can lead me to where that deed and assumingly all the others are being kept.
Okay, all right. What are you going to use to do this? You could have physically done it yourself. You could have talked someone else into it. You could have studied out an ancient experiment and know something about it. If you want to study or hunt, hunt would be fine too. So what would you like to use to do this?
I still think finesse.
Okay.
Getting the information of where the deed is one thing, but actually being able to get the truffle oil on the paper, I think, is the finesse. So I don't know if this is something someone can help me with. Like one person gets me the information, and then I actually do the spraying.
Yeah, I think so. So I think it's going to be a two-parter. Who is there? Someone else that would like to help with this flashback?
So you need to get a hold of some deeds?
Basically, we need to figure out the most recent property that they bought and then intercept the deed either at the office or in the process of being sent over so that I can affect it before it gets to your house.
Turns out I know someone at the office. We go back. We go back away.
We're friends. Okay. All right. So, Nix, if you could, would you like to consort or sway something in order to kind of get the information you need?
Let's see. I just want to look at the...
No, go ahead. If you got something else too, that's fine. Study or survey to find out where it is, and then Sky will do a physical roll, a finesse roll to see if they can actually physically get the truffle oil sprayed onto the correct one, but you have to identify the correct one first.
Yeah, I'm going to try and sway them, being a little... not entirely outright about it.
No,
but...
yeah, you're definitely probably down at the property assessor's building, and they're, you go in with a question about something and are making it up, and there's whoever's doing it's kind of rubber stamping things and moving them over, and you're there long enough to, well, let's see if you find out.
And I'm gonna push myself again because why not? Okay. It's a one shot.
You got the stress to spare. Let's do it.
Yeah, so let's not consort.
If anyone ever fills up the last tracker of their stress, please tell me.
Okay. So risky control or risky
and standard. That's fine. Standard. Risky and standard.
Okay. And then one bonus die. Okay, 5.
5, so it succeeds. Basically what happens is it succeeds, but you can't tell quite which one it is. So you pick out a couple that you think it is. As he's rubber stamping and doing so quickly, you think you see it, and you kind of mark it, or maybe dog ear a page or do something like that. But you're not quite sure if you got it.
Okay. All right. It's my assist.
So Sky, how would you like to put that on there? Finesse?
Yes, I'm going to use finesse, and I would like to push myself.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's 2 stress, right?
Yep, that's 2 stress.
For 1 bonus die?
Yep, for 1 bonus die.
And that is it risky, control, desperate?
It is risky and standard at this point. Still risky and standard.
Okay. But standard and 1 bonus die. I'll take it.
A 4. Okay. So yeah, you end up spraying a bunch. It's just a group, like it's a whole stack of papers. You're like, not sure which one it is, spraying it down. So you probably don't get quite the effect you want. You didn't get a good soaking on it like you would want. So Squeakers may have some problems hunting this down if he needs to.
Okay. So at that point, as Nyx is going to the powder room, I actually was like, actually, Squeakers kind of needs to go as well. So I'll accompany you.
Yes.
And then that gives us a reason to hopefully be gone for a little while, and then we'll see if Squeakers can find the deeds.
Okay. And so, Mrs. Fritter, what are you doing?
I'm muted.
Yep.
So as Colburn effectively stomped off, because we're post that happening, right? Like he has now stomped off.
Well, he's not stomped off. He just kind of got a little pouty. You could see his feelings got a little hurt. He's not stomped off. He's still there.
So he didn't actually leave.
No, he didn't leave.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
No, you're good. If I fill the entire pie, he leaves. So he is not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I'm so sorry. I misunderstood that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's still there.
Would it be helpful if he did stomp off? Like, would we change that to something you push him to do so that he does stomp off?
I effectively was looking for an opportunity to sneak upstairs. And I thought he had stomped off, and if there was, and then she's occupied with Nyx, then that would have been an opportunity to do that. But if he's still present, I mean,
he could have. Oh, if it prolongs your story and what you want, then it's going to happen. So yeah, he kind of. I tell you what he does is he says he looks kind of down at his glass and makes little tinkling noises and shakes it, and no one comes to him. So he gets up and kind of says, "I'm going to get another refreshment. Do you all want anything?" And he kind of looks your way, Mrs. Pie.
Oh, actually,
Mrs. Fritter. Sorry.
I know.
My bad.
That was great. Actually, I would like. Do you have any gin?
Gin. We haven't. Gin. You see, kind of makes the mouth face. I don't know. Let's go check. Do you want to? Do you want to come back with me and we'll ask? I just tinkle my glass and they come bring me what I want. So, yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Let's go do that. Let's go learn about alcohol.
All right. So it's got to be potato gin. Anything potato, by the way, or mushroom of some kind, as this is a dark and stormy night. So yeah, you basically he kind of walks off and he's talking with you a little bit, making small talk about what is gin. I don't really know. As you're walking back, so we have Preacher and JN in the front room in the parlor still. We have Nyx and Sky presumably going to the restroom to do whatever, and then we have Mrs. Fritter who is walking with a sad Colburn back to find out what gin is. Who are we cutting to?
I don't mind taking the lead if nobody else wants to.
Go for it.
And by the way, feel free to role play any kind of interactions that you would have had. You've already talked through this through every interaction before. And so if in the case of, yeah, I talked to Mrs. Fritter about this, she said she was going to do this if this happened. So feel free, just because you're not together does not mean that you don't talk. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just cooler that way. All right. So who's doing what?
If it's just me and her there, I want to try to sway her influence for me.
Okay.
I've already pissed off one of these people. I want to try to get on the lighter side of the other one.
Okay.
I have this bottle of whiskey, this fine bottle of whiskey that I brought on this mission with me. So it's supposed to be potent and delicious. So
yeah, she definitely, at the same time, Colburn kind of looks up and she is done, finishes hers, and kind of looks at Colburn. Colburn doesn't even pay her any attention and walks around the corner to go get whatever he wants. And she's kind of like, what do I do now? And sits the glass down.
And I think Preacher would take the opportunity to open his coat and not only take out this flask, I would assume, of this whiskey, but also a couple cigars.
Okay.
And sort of push them on the table and open up the bottle and sort of shake it at her glass, just getting her attention.
Yeah, she definitely takes her glass and kind of scoots it over your direction.
So I'll pour a little bit in there for her. I don't want to be overzealous with it. So now that the children have left, maybe you and I can talk real business here.
She goes, what would that be?
Listen, that man is going to put you all on the streets, and I understand that. You and I need to make a deal that's going to be equitable for both of our parties.
I agree. What are you thinking?
Listen, they don't have to be pretty. They just have to be functional. Correct?
Yes, we don't... Yeah. Our time is short with them.
See, I've got a lot of friends who could pull a lot of strings for you. While they may not be oceanfront property, you're going to demand prices for them, or people's skulls are going to get broken, if you understand what I'm saying here.
Definitely understand. Yes.
But I'm only going to make this deal with you. As long as he's involved, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Sounds like an action roll of some kind. Let's see what her reaction is going to be to this.
Okay.
Are you commanding? Are you consorting?
I am consorting like a mofo. And this is
I don't think there's a bonus die for like a mofo, but they'd be close.
There is one for my weaving the web. Is this considered still in this?
Is that the gather information?
I guess it technically wouldn't be in this situation.
But you do get an extra die for using the fine whiskey.
Excellent. So it's going to be controlled or risky?
You want a devil's bargain? You can hear it before you accept it.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Do it.
She knows that you want something else. She knows that construction work is not what it is. That you want. That's not why you're here. She gets that feeling that that's not what you're about. Now, what she does with it may not be nothing, but she knows that that's not. This is just a front for something else. If you want to use that, that's fine. If you don't, you can say, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah. Let's use that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get an extra bonus die.
Okay. My position is.
It is risky.
Okay.
And standard for this.
Standard.
Yep.
And I get
again, risky standard is kind of the default. It's something I'm still working on as a GM. Are these effects and the they're different to play with. So if you feel like something should be something else, please feel free. Again, you have your judgment on it as well. Okay. This feels like a risky situation. It doesn't feel like she's about to walk out, but it also doesn't feel like she's your best friend. So that's why I said risky.
Okay. My bonus dice are how many?
Are 2, 1 for the fine whiskey and 1 for the devil's bargain.
Okay, here comes the roll.
All right, 6, a success. So she takes a drink. She kind of finishes the rest of the whiskey, sets it down, grabs one of the cigars, cuts the end, lights it, pulls a lighter from her pocket and lights it, takes a big drag on it, and says, "So now that that's completed, why are you really here?" All right, and so let's cut to our two hallway friends, Nyx and Sky. Or actually, let's go to Mrs. Pie. Let's figure out where Jen comes from. Sorry, Mrs. Fritter. Oh. Mrs. Fritter, you're walking down the hallway with Colburn, and he's explaining to you about all the things he thinks he's drank and done. It's probably not much, but still.
He's a child. I listen. Miss Fritter would be very gracious and listen to this child talk about what his idea of alcohol is. And she will very politely explain to him that gin, used to be made with these juniper berries, but they don't do that anymore. And now we use potato and nightshade to replicate the effect of drinking gin and the flavor, which is why you have to be careful and not drink too much at one time, because the nightshade will kill you, and that's just the fun part of drinking gin, is that kind of that not knowing if you drink too much or not.
He definitely gives you the big eyes, and it's like, it can kill you.
It really can.
So probably shouldn't have that, right?
It's why we don't let children drink it. But
kids, they can't handle anything. I want some of this gin. Yeah. So he calls. Go ahead.
I was just saying, let's look through let's go to your study, your grandfather's study. I'm sure he's got an alcohol cart in there. I'm sure your grandfather has gin.
I have seen him taking of something I didn't know what it was. I asked him for some and he wouldn't give it to me. I bet that's this gin you speak of. All right, come on, follow me. And he basically leads you around a back set of stairwell through like a pantry or something into a closet that leads up a back stairwell up into a large opulent room. Looks like it was probably for doing business. It's probably a 20-foot by 20-foot room. It actually has wood, petrified wood in places, which is pretty rare at this point. Wooden desk and pictures. Everything feels old. There's a layer of, sorry, got the hiccups. There's a layer of dust. I've been drinking gin, I guess. There's a layer of dust on everything, and there's a small cart over here, and he kind of gets the giggly, excited. Oh, I bet it's over here. So what are you planning to do?
We are going to hit him over the head with the nearest heavy object.
Okay. All right. So did you bring something?
Oh, I brought everything.
Yeah, of course you did. All right. So let's roll and see how this is going to go.
How would you, is this a...
so if a mouse over prowl is ambush with close violence, do you have that? Or skirmish?
I have skirmish.
Okay. So skirmish is skirmish with an opponent in close combat, assault, or hold a position. Brawl or wrestle. Skirmish works?
Yeah.
All right. So let's roll it up and see what happens.
So we're going to go with risky.
This is risky. Yep, it's risky and standard effect.
Standard effect.
Do you want to push yourself?
Yeah.
Or do you want a devil's bargain?
I'll push myself.
Okay. So take 2 stress. And then that makes you get an extra die. Also, if you're I don't know if you have under items, if you have a fine item that is something you want to use, you will get a die as well. So if like the first 2 items on your equipment is like fine bludgeon or fine hammer, I don't know.
I have fine hand weapon and fine heavy weapon.
Okay, so tell me what it is, and you get an extra die if you want to click it and use it.
Fine hand weapon. Hold on one second.
Yep.
Let me see if it'll tell me.
I mean, you just tell me what you want. what it is.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay.
It doesn't
so
matter
just
what it
be
is. Yeah, I
anything.
mean, it could be anything. It's just a hand weapon. So what is your fine hand weapon of choice?
I feel like that's a lot of pressure. Oh no,
I mean, like a
I know.
sap or a cudgel would be perfect in the situation.
Or the
What?
book filled with condoms.
I mean, I was gonna go with a ladle because I'm a
Yeah,
lunch lady.
yeah.
But like a ladle that I filled in one side of it with like
Oh, yeah.
cement or something, and so it's
Okay.
like fucking heavy.
It's like a half mace.
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go.
All right.
So we're gonna do that. Let me go back into skirmish, and it was risky, standard, and so I
Risky and
have
standard.
two
Two
bonus
extra die. Yep, because you're using a fine item.
2, 5, and 1.
Two,
So I got
five, and 1.
five.
So success. So tell me what happens. He ends up going down in a heap. So explain in the shot what happens.
So poor little Colburn just did not see that coming. And I whacked him over the head with that ladle, and he basically just fell onto the alcohol cart. Basically just toppled the whole thing, and he's out cold in a whole, circle of liquor. And
So absolutely, that's what happens. What
For
you
sure.
didn't see is that as you go to knock him, he actually has a bottle of something in his hand, and it crashes. Like as you hit him, he just kind of falls forward, and the bottle he has crashes in the other bottles and is like oozing this stuff out, oozing
Cool.
this alcohol all in the cart area. It's like it's crashing some other ones, and they're all kind of spilling out a little bit. So you got a cart full of alcohol liquid. Yeah. So who knows if something will happen with that. All right. So as you kind of figure out your next move, let's go to Nyx and Sky. And so where do we find you all?
So we are following Squeakers, who is hopefully following the smell of truffle to where these deeds are being kept. And I look at Nyx and say, so which do you think will happen first? Preacher pulls out the whiskey, or Miss Fritter knocks that dude out?
Well, honestly, it could go either way, but I'm gonna put it on the whiskey. What about you?
I think Miss Fritter is just going to lose it and just beat the snot out of Colburn. I just think that's going to happen. I think they're both going to happen. So I'll go the other way. I think Miss Fritter goes first.
Oh, well, I suppose time will tell, right? So while this is going on, and I guess I'm pretending to have Sky escort me to the restroom, and Truffles is there. I want to see if I can do recon by, now that I'm no longer in J-Ann's warding field,
Yep.
to see if maybe I can also scout ahead at the same time and
Absolutely.
see if there's any if there are any complications coming up, we can deal with them.
Okay. Yep. So it looks like it's going to be an attune.
All right, let us attune to that. So what am I rolling? Risky, standard?
I'm sorry. It's risky and standard. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Ooh, a 6! Yay!
Oh, it's like, yep. So what does it look like now that you're not around people? Does your physical appearance change in any way? How do you look into the ghost field?
I think her eyes are normally a pretty dark color, but I think the whites of the eyes turn kind of more like black. So
Okay.
it's just kind of these fully black eyes as she's
Okay.
peeking into this ethereal world.
Absolutely.
So it's a little more noticeable.
Okay, so you can definitely see that there are areas of the house that are warded against spirits, so they can't come into, namely upstairs. But down here, you do see spirits that are kind of roaming around, especially with you as a whisper. Spirits are always kind of around you, either to talk to you or to try to get help with something, or who knows what's going on. And there's a spirit of an older man that is standing in front of you, and he looks at home in this kitchen area, like he'd been there for a long time. He has a tired look on his face and looks at you and says, Can you see me?
Why, I can. Who am I speaking with?
I am Otek. Go ahead.
I was being silly. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm assuming I can't see the ghost. So for
No,
a
you
second,
cannot.
I think Nix is talking to me. I'm like, it's Sky. Like, did you hit the preacher's whiskey? I don't.
Gotcha.
I think you can look over and see the eyes and just be like, oh.
Yeah, my bad. Not talking to me. Not talking to me. It's like yeah. So Otek
I'll
goes,
just step away.
go through the larder. Otek looks at you and goes, you are a whisper. I was hoping one would come through. I was employed by the Rowans for a long time. I've passed recently.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It is the way of things. What are you doing here? I don't think the Rowans much care for whispers. How did you get in here?
Well, let's just say that we are trying to make a deal with them and hopefully turn things in the favor of Six Tower and not in the favor of the Rowans.
Make a deal with them. They're back from the Dagger Isles?
I don't believe we're speaking to the elders. We're speaking to the grandchildren.
There are no grandchildren.
Colburn and Jayanne?
You can see he kind of gets a fuzzy appearance and just can't really understand what's going on. It's kind of like, there are no grandchildren. And his spirit starts to fade a little bit.
Sky, I think we have a complication here. Or perhaps this could be favorable.
I turn around. I've got some peanuts. I'm just like munching on them. Complication. Sounds like fun, maybe. What's up?
I don't believe the two individuals we've been speaking to are true Rowans.
They'll be like this, almost like, zoom in on my face, shock, and I'll drop the peanuts and then go, I don't know what that means.
You know what? I can explain along the way, but I think we could probably use this as leverage, actually. Come. And, I'll try and explain the situation to him as Truffles is continuing to snuffle out.
Yeah. So Squeaker's definitely is kind of walking around. Squeaker actually goes to a set of stairs. While you are standing there, he's kind of at the stairs. He's too small to kind of get up onto the next stairs.
He's so cute.
He's waiting at the thing and just kind of keeps turning around, looking at you and looking back and looking up the stairs. So yeah.
Yeah, I will pick him up and carry him up the stairs.
So he basically goes up to the top of the stairs, and you actually are on the same level as Mrs. Fritter, just on the other side. There is a couple large rooms off to the left and right, and he goes to the door of one of those. And that's where we'll come back to Preacher. So Jayanne just looked at you and said, "What is it that you really want?" He takes another long drag of your cigar.
I hate having this meta knowledge right now. Okay, I'd say he'd probably cut the end of his cigar off and lean forward and light it off one of the candles. Just take some long puffs while looking up at her. Just gauging her right now. Lean back. So, I'd say right about now, if we're lucky, Colburn's probably laying in a puddle of his own blood. And if I'm not mistaken, our little pig friend is probably rooting out some truffles right now. And see, all we want is the deeds. We don't really care about how we acquire them. And I'm not sure what you have to offer me in exchange for that.
Her gaze is bearing into your very soul, if it could, as she angry puffs on your cigar. She takes a long drag. And she kind of gets that far off look as if what she's been trying to do is not worked, has not gone her way. And she goes, what is it that you want? What yes, you want the deeds. I understand. But you all have a job to do just like I do.
Oh,
You know that
that's quite amusing. What exactly is your job here?
what do you think it is? Come on. Since you've so eloquently put it together, you know what's going on. Me and mine, found a way to get in here and snoop around. We've used, well, no. This is not the point where I wax on eloquently about our plan and plot and what all we were going to do. It's simply, what are you going to do? That's what matters here.
Take another long drag as I stare back at her for a few seconds and give her that awkward silence. Frankly, my next action is going to drastically depend on how willing you are to sign these deeds back over to us and what sort of force we might have to put behind that offer otherwise. I really hate to break your face, but it's not beyond me to do that.
It escalated quickly.
Yes, yeah, the same thing as I'm going to get a drink and then I smack him over the head. All right. So that sounds like an action roll. So what are we rolling? What are we doing to make this happen? What are you using?
I would say that's probably, is it command or sway?
It sounds pretty commandy to me, but you
Yeah.
tell me what it is.
Yeah, I mean, threatening to break somebody's face probably would be somewhat commandy.
I would take it that way.
I definitely will take the stress for this
Okay.
in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Oh, God. This is not going to be great. I'm going to assume this is probably, is it risky or desperate? I'm not a fighting man. I'll be honest with you. I'm really not.
I think this is I think this is our first desperate action. Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is one of those, like, it could go either way very quickly moments. So I think it's going to be desperate.
I'm a talker. I'm not a...
Yeah, so desperate, and yeah, because if she calls your bluff on this, then we're about to see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say it's desperate and it's standard effect.
Okay. And that gives me one extra die, correct?
For what?
For spending the stress.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
Okay. So that'll give
For
me
pushing yourself. Yep.
2 dice.
Okay.
Hey, not
5.
bad.
All right. So she says, the deeds you can have but I have to have your word on something. That you all leave and you don't tell what's going on. So we may continue this charade.
That is a very stagnant offer. We're just supposed to conduct business as normal. See, I kind of feel like you're at the loss in this exchange currently because we can take the deeds and we can force you to sign them and break every little one of your fingers in the process. And you just letting us go, well, that's something we can do all of our own.
So, Miss Fritter, can you, do you have anything in study or survey?
I have 2 pips in survey.
Do you mind making me a survey check? There's something going on. I want to see what you...
Risky, controlled,
Risky and... Yes, risky and standard. That's fine.
and no bonus die.
No bonus. Well, unless you choose.
5 and a 1.
You hear footsteps coming from somewhere in the hallway. Large, heavy footsteps from somewhere in the hallway. Sounds like it's maybe below you, but you definitely hear doors shutting and sounds like people coming through the back.
Awesome.
All right. So I guess while we're with you, what are you doing now? You have Colburn laying on the floor.
Colburn's on the floor. She's kind of sitting over him, like kind of striking matches and just tossing them to see like what happens.
Trying to see how close you could get.
I mean, it's kind of just a game at this
Okay.
point. I mean, if they catch, then she'll get up and walk. But at this point, she's just kind of striking him, watching him burn.
All right. So what do
We
you
call this preheating the oven when she does this.
It's babysitting for adults.
Okay, so what attribute are you using to do this? Is that I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Is it I mean, is it finesse? Is it
Oh,
hunt?
wreck?
Is it yeah, if
Wreck?
the plan basically is to wreck it.
Oh, the plan's to burn the house down.
Oh, then yeah.
for sure.
Then wreck. Yeah, cuz you basically
Okay.
this will be did you put the cart in the right spot for maximum fire
Oh
range?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. So risky,
Yes, risky at this point.
standard.
Yep.
And do I want to do something that has a bonus die? I've got 2 pips in wreck, so I know I've got a better shot.
You can ask for an assist for somebody. You can ask for, again, push yourself, devil's bargain.
And the devil's bargain does what exactly?
The devil's bargain is I tell you what's going to happen. You can choose to accept or deny it. And no matter what happens on the roll, what I say happens.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You
I'll
can
take
at least hear it.
I'll take a stress. I want to burn the house down. I'd rather let's let the dice decide.
Okay. I have. Okay.
Oh, I got 2 6s. We're burning this motherfucker down. Sorry, that was a lot of emotion.
That's that. Okay. So tell me what happens. What is it? What? Yes. Describe set the scene as you wish. You have narrative control.
Wait, hold on. As a player, quick question:
Yes.
Are we supposed to not kill people? Like, should
So
like,
when you kill people, what happens is an alarm starts to ring, and the death crows show up. They start to circle the area. There's a clock that I would start. Then the spirit wardens show up. And the spirit wardens are like the elite kind of SWAT force, all in one. They take people's bodies and cremate them so they don't transfer into ghost. So you don't want to be on site when the spirit wardens show up because it doesn't matter who you are. They're taking everybody basically.
Cool.
So it would just basically set a clock that yes, someone's passed. You now need to get away.
But just him being knocked out, setting the room on fire, it would take a while for him to asphyxiate.
Narratively,
Yeah.
you did not kill him.
I wouldn't
Narratively,
kill him in the moment.
Right.
It would be, we'd have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So, I'm just sitting there. I've got like a book of matches. It's got like a cat on it. It's from maybe a cat house. I don't know. She's just striking him, letting him go. And then it just magically, one of them falls into this perfect little puddle, like right below his head, and it just catches. And then it just, this lovely cascade of firelight just starts to consume the whole damn room. So, she gets up and, walks over to the desk. Let's see if we can find these deeds that they've talked about before we leave.
So let's go ahead and make your roll, and then let's go to Nyx and to Sky. You're going into one of the other rooms on the hallway. You hear a sound that from the back, it sounds like. Not sure what's going on back there, but there's definitely a noise coming from the back of the house. But Squeakers is pointing toward this door right in front of you.
Well, we're gonna go quickly. Me and Nick's obviously understand Miss Fritter's predilections, and maybe she may not be able to.
She likes her food burnt.
Withhold her urges long enough for our timing to be perfect. So maybe we should step a little lively.
And we are preheating the oven.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the door in front of you is locked. How are we getting through that door?
Do you have anything, Nix?
Well, it just so happens. No, I thought there was lockpicking tools here.
No, so I think under anyone, I believe anyone has them under burglary gear.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and mark that.
Lockpick. So if you want to mark that you have burglary gear, and then just tell me what you're doing. You could also wreck it or some other ways too. So just any way you want to get through the door. So you have burglary gear?
Yeah, I think she's gonna like pull a hairpin out of her very neatly coiffed hair, and I'll just be like, hold on one moment. Let me just. It seems the door's a little stuck, and I'm gonna try and finesse it. I believe.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, we have more space to mark stress. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna push myself.
Sky can also give you an assist if you'd rather have that for 1 stress.
I'll do it. Yeah, I can assist.
Okay. Oh.
I will take a second bobby pin from my hair, and now you have 2.
Oh, thank you. Back up. All right. Yeah, I'll take that instead. Maybe save that. So risky.
This is risky and standard. Yep.
Risky, standard, and we'll do 1 bonus die.
Yep.
Beans.
Yeah. The it looks like this lock is really, really old. Something you probably weren't used to, and or it's locked in some kind of mechanism that just doesn't work. So you fail. You have to go about this from a different angle. So you have to use a different attribute to do this. Someone else, whatever.
Ghost key. I don't know if that's applicable.
Sounds good to me. What does it say? If you mark the carrot, does it say anything what it is?
No, it's the one that's italicized, so I always have it. I don't quite know what it is, but I just now saw it.
Would you like to attune?
Yeah, let me attune this ghost key. See if I can use it to
see what this ghost key is real quick.
An arcane device that can open ghost doors. That's what the book says.
Yeah, let's see it. Go ahead and mark it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with it. If you make your attune roll, then you'll be able to basically attune to what this door is and use the ghost key. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
It's risky and say limited. So this is not what this purpose is for, but you can definitely try it.
Oh, 6.
A 6. So yeah. If not, I was going to make ghosts start to come in. So, dang it. But yeah, basically, it seems like this door is really old, which is another thing for you. Is as you put out the ghost key, you can actually see it's attuned to these kind of doors. It wasn't supposed to unlock with a normal lock. So you're able to. What does your ghost key look like?
I think it's a very beautifully, ornately carved skeleton key that just has like a little bit of this ethereal quality to it.
Okay, absolutely. So you take the ghost key and kind of put it up toward the door, and the door doesn't open. It simply shimmers and like disappears. And inside you see the contents of a room. Looks like 2 people have been sleeping in there. And it's pretty trashed. I mean, there's like anything of value that they found in this house, they basically pulled in this direction. So there's a bunch of stuff. So Squeakers is kind of, this is where the smell is not good enough for him to track anymore. So you'll need to come up with a way to figure out how you're going to find the deeds. So as we're doing that, let's go back to Preacher. Preacher, where are we? What are we dealing with here?
I think we've been bargaining back and forth between who has like the biggest
Cigar.
Cigar. Yeah, I was
Cigar.
just thinking cigar. Okay.
Who has the most to lose, I guess, in this situation.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to get more out of her,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's money or information or just something useful.
So, do you have anything in survey?
In survey, I do, yes.
So, survey is survey location to situation to understand what's going on. Can you roll survey for me?
I can. Risky,
It's going, risky and limited
limited,
because you're just trying to read her.
and no bonus dice, correct?
Not unless you choose to, or someone's going to give you an assist or something like that. Or you want to take the devil's bargain.
I took the devil's bargain once already tonight. I think I might save that for our next interaction.
Okay.
Let me just take the stress,
Okay.
and I'll get
Push
one
yourself?
bonus die for that. Yeah, I will push myself.
So a
And-
5.
Yeah.
It takes you a minute to look at her as she starts to wax on about what they've done, not really telling you anything, but trying to talk to you. You realize she's stalling. She's 100% stalling for something, and you can't you know that she's doing that, but you don't know why.
Gotcha. It's kind of funny because I think we're both stalling one another.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think maybe she even understands that there's probably a look on both your faces at one point in time as you talked for like 5 minutes and realize you've not really said anything, and both of you just kind of sit back in your chair and look at each other like, okay, I see what's going on.
So, who are you waiting on?
My people.
Your people are probably going to be entering a house that's going to be quite enthralled with flame very shortly. Do you smell something burning from the kitchen?
She looks around and kind of eyes you suspiciously, and goes, "So we both better get our business done quick."
Whose name's all those deeds in?
Some member of the Rowan family. We looked it up.
A living member?
Oh, yeah, otherwise it wouldn't work. Well, a not confirmed dead member. Let's put it that way. I don't know if they're living or not.
Interesting. Interesting. So we'll let this charade of you and your partner ride out, and you can take whatever little insurance money you might get from this little arson that happened this evening, and you can live off that quite well, I think, for some time. And in return, you can get this person to come sign these deeds over to us. I don't think that's too bad of a bargain.
Sounds like an action roll of some kind. What are we using?
It's going to be a sway, I assume.
Okay.
And I think for this one, I will take the devil's bargain.
Oh, devil's bargain. What would the devil's bargain be for trying to tell them that,
We're doing
I mean,
them
if this
a
were-
favor.
So if this were a campaign, yeah, absolutely. We'll play it like it'd be a campaign. Basically, she marks you and knows who you are, and basically is going to would try to come after you after this. I think that's the most realistic in this. Is she knows you're trying to hustle her, you out hustled her. She wants that in the end, so you aren't for sure that what she says is going to happen. You know that she may not fulfill her end of the bargain.
Okay. I suppose I will sit, at least with the confidence knowing that we'll have the deeds, so I'll just take that with me for now.
Okay.
Gosh. I think I'm going to go ahead and push it one more time. I can't. Can I push it and take the devil's bargain? I don't
No,
remember.
you can either push or take the devil's bargain.
That's correct. Okay. So this
You
is
can
just
you
gonna
can
be
say no to the devil's. You can say no to the devil's bargain and instead push. That's perfectly fine too.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll take it.
Okay.
That sounds about right for the situation. This is going to be position what?
Desperate.
Desperate. Okay. And the effect.
Greater, because it's either going to happen or not. If it happens and she gives up, yeah, then yeah.
Okay. I don't want to see this.
As I stare at roll 20.
Yeah. No bonus dice. Oh, it's a 2. Help me. Help me.
She basically says, "No, that's not going to work. We work too hard. The little whatever they have for this building, that's not worth it. We need more." And basically she stands up. So, Mrs. Fritter, where are you at? You strolling down the hallway?
No, I was in the office.
Correct.
Theoretically trying to pilfer through the desk.
Okay, yes,
to
sorry.
Find the deeds.
So what are you going to use to try to find something here?
We are going to use, let me see. I don't know what the best.
You can do study to study a person, document, or item with close scrutiny. Survey to kind
survey. Let's do survey.
Okay.
Can we do survey?
Yes, survey.
Survey. Let's do it. Risky, standard.
Yep, risky and standard. Actually, yeah, this would be more desperate because this is like, oh my gosh, I got to get, but it won't affect your. Again, it's fine.
Okay.
3. You don't find what you're looking for. There's a locked drawer in here that looks like they've tried to get into. So something important is probably in here, but you can't find out what's in there. You can resist that if you want, or you can go about it in another way. So if you want to try to say break in or something like that, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm going to resist that.
You also know that the fire is getting closer.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay, go ahead.
So resist, it would be...
Can I use my demolition tools?
Are you resisting, or do you want to go about using a different attribute? Do you want to wreck it?
Yeah, I want to wreck it.
Okay, so let's just roll wreck, and then if you have, do you have fine demolition tools, or just demolition tools?
Just demolition tools.
Okay, so it's not a plus for that. If it has fine in it, you get a +1 die.
I mean, I have fine heavy weapon.
Okay, then
So
you
I
could use
could
that.
just
If you want to say use
use-
that to wreck, that's fine too.
Sure, let's use my fine heavy weapon to wreck.
What is that?
I'm thinking about what that could be.
Big mallet or a big?
Meat
Cleaver?
tenderizer.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you kind of fiddle with it. And you're like, why am I doing this? What's going on? You take that big meat tenderizer off that you got off your back, and swing it down and just bust this drawer wide open. And what stumbles out are a couple of pieces of paper and some stamps, like family crest stamps that you know that they use for official business.
Like notary stamp type things.
It looks like a section of a notary stamp, and then maybe like their signatures, so people can take them or whatever. So it looks like that's what JN and Colburn were trying to get at.
Oh, well, we're gonna pocket that.
Okay.
But no actual deeds.
No actual deeds.
Awesome. That's fine.
All right. So Sky and Nyx, we're in a big room with a bunch of crap everywhere. You definitely smell smoke coming from the other direction. You know that Miss Fritter is doing her cooking in there. What are you going to do?
Well, it's starting to get a little toasty in here, so I think we need to make haste.
Dude, Claire, why don't we use your attunement here and see if we can get some ghost help to find these deeds?
Ghost help! I call
Right.
upon the ghost. Yeah. We'll attune.
Okay.
Two. Let's see. Risky.
Risky. Risky and standard. That's fine.
Okay. And we'll just go straight. All right.
6.
Okay. We got a 6.
All right. Basically what happens is as you start to tune the ghost field, you see there's a ghost there that is angry and like mad, wanting to kind of talk to you. And so you kind of are like, what's going on. You get the story out of them that they're actually someone who was thrown out on the street by the deeds by these two, and they've been following them, trying to haunt them or trying to possess them or trying to hurt them, but they couldn't because of the rings. And so they have been watching the deeds and watching where their deed is and can point you in that direction.
Yeah, and I think for an exchange for that information, Nyx will let this ghost know. Well, recently Colburn is no longer in possession of that ring that wards him from spirits.
Oh, the spirit kind of looks around and smiles a big nasty grin and floats through the wall into the stairwell, and you feel the cold as the spirit kind of makes it into a corporeal form, and forms and starts to go down the hallway.
Not want to hurry.
All right. So Sky, what do you now know where the deeds kind of are in this section? How are you going to get to them?
I will use finesse.
Okay.
So they're not locked. So are they like locked, or are they just
No, they're not locked. They're just in an area with a bunch of like silverware and cups and all kinds of stuff, things that they found of value. They basically piled up in this area, and they put the deeds kind of underneath them. It's a huge stack of stuff, so you could definitely finesse them out, but they have them in there. Just they were trying to keep them as close to them as possible.
Okay, yeah, then I definitely will want to finesse them out, because again, we're wanting to move quickly. I don't want it to take. I don't think we can take everything. So
No.
And then I will take some stress for a bonus die.
Okay.
So finesse, risky, standard.
Yep, risky and standard works.
1 bonus. 5. I'll take it.
So yeah, you're able to grab the deeds, but as you grab them, you basically kind of keep everything starts to wobble, like this big piles of all this stuff, and it starts to fall towards you. So you and Nyx kind of have to back your way out of the room without maybe really going through it and grabbing the good stuff. There's just piles of stuff now that are falling on the floor towards you, but you have the deeds. You have the manila envelope with the deeds in your hand.
Yeah, this is what we came for. There'll be another day for other things.
Can we say that like we set up some sort of signal ahead of time to be like, we got it, we're good?
Absolutely. What is the signal?
Well, that's a good question. Outsourcing ideas.
Is it a bell? Is it something?
Is it a really loud pig squeal?
Is it pig related?
Yes.
Is it what related?
Is it
Pig.
pig related?
I mean, we could say something like "time to make the bacon," but like I don't think that's.
Time to make the bacon.
Poor squeakers.
Squeakers.
Traumatized by
No one's
that
gonna
thing.
make bacon from you.
Squeakers does not approve. Squeakers resists that consequence.
Yes.
With all of their little stress and their little heart, they resist that consequence. So you all, whatever this thing is, you now know, you have heard it basically, and Preacher, you know that they have what you came looking for.
Is it in my scene now? I don't want to take away from anybody else's time.
Well, as far as what is Mrs. Fritter doing? Because you found what you need. Are you leaving now, or what are you doing?
She's heading out. Okay. I was gonna see if she would be perceptive to the spirit that is trying to find Colburn, or not. I'm not sure how she would be perceptive to that.
So you can definitely feel when the spirit comes in corporeal form, you feel the cold get sapped from around you. It gets a lot colder there. Not enough to put out the fire, of course, but it definitely gets colder in this area as you see a spirit peek through. And I think for a quick second, you're like, oh no, there's a spirit here. but the spirit just completely ignores you and goes after Colburn.
She's just gonna laugh. Just the awareness of it all. She's just gonna laugh. And then she's just gonna head back downstairs to her friends.
Okay. So you start to walk by, and probably at the same time you walk by, that's when Nyx and Sky get kind of pushed out of the room by all the trash and miscellaneous stuff. So you're all basically in the hallway together. And so anything said? You can definitely, Nyx and Sky, you definitely see the flames and the smoke's coming to roll through.
How long until you think that your pie is done, Miss Fritter?
I think it's just starting to brown on top, so we probably have about 10 minutes or so.
Excellent. You know, I think we'll need to let Preacher know that time is of the essence.
I wasn't prepared for that. Okay, so yeah, that's basically, I see the three of you making your way down these big broad stairs down to where the parlor is, and the camera would pan back to Preacher and Jan. The noise you heard in the back is you actually hear maybe as you're coming down the stairs, you hear people coming from the other side up the way that Colburn and Mrs. Fritter came the first time, kind of running up those stairs, and you hear people yelling about fire and put it out and stuff like that. So you're unsure what's going to go on, but you hear footsteps in that kind of those stairs in the back. So Preacher, what are you doing?
So I've heard this signal that we are ready to go.
Yep.
And
I've heard the pig whistle.
Is this a state like near one of these rivers, or?
There's rivers and tributaries all throughout.
And I would say if we went into this with the idea that we're going to burn the motherfucker down, that we probably should have sort of some escape plan set up.
Absolutely.
I was kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you.
I was going to say that I was thinking maybe perhaps one of us could flash back, like, oh, we studied the layout of this place and we know some secret passages into like a sewer or something.
Right.
Okay.
That was my next segue as well. So.
Let's go. Brainwaves.
Brainwave. So.
All right. So Preacher, how are you leaving it with JN? Are you just walking away?
I just have to do that slow stand up where I'm putting my buttons back together on the jacket and lean down slowly and press the cigar out on the table. Because at this point, it's all going to be burned up anyway. Who cares if the table's burned up? Well, it seems that our courses have come to an impasse. You know, I don't know what your role in all this is or what you're hoping to obtain, but look, I don't choose what the world wants me to be. But there's some innocents still out there begging and scraping by. Maybe you don't give a fuck about them, but we do. Alright? And if that means knocking you or your little friends down a little peg or two, well, what's the old saying? You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
And I think what happens is you maybe open those big double doors that you get into this Victorian house, and about the same time your three friends come walking up behind you. Does anyone want to do anything before you walk out of the house?
If you need your friend, he's upstairs. Or parts of it might still be.
She kind of, she looks up at it, takes a big sigh, and just gives it that I don't know what to do anymore look. As you step out of the house, you four come walking down the house. You see that the second floor is mostly engulfed now. You see shadows and shapes of people trying to put it out, but there's not enough water in order to do that. And I think if we flash back, there's actually a moat here. The drawbridge that's down. I think maybe what y'all have done is you've actually had one of the gondoliers. Think of it as Vendus. There's gondoliers that run taxi services all around. You have a gondolier waiting for you literally in the moat, and they're waiting to take you out. They would go around back of this place to an unknown gate and open it up, and you're out into the riverway in just a few minutes. As you walk back, the last scene. Does anyone want to do anything before we cut out?
I think we all look at each other and someone says, "A job well done," and someone else says, "Indeed." Freeze frame.
Yeah, the last frame, the camera then pans up and sees this old house just kind of burning. There's smoke and fire and all kinds of stuff, and a nice gondola ride down the river with your hands on deeds. I think that's how we'll end it.
Yay!
Very nice. Very
All
nice.
right. Thank you all for playing. First of all, thank you, Saevrick, for hosting and for running this little game with me. Thank you all for tuning in and jumping on. Hopefully it was entertaining for you. If you haven't been involved in Blades in the Dark or seen it before, I hope this is a decent introduction. There's no telling what can happen when you play Blades. It just, things happen. So thank you for showing up. Again, I'm Nathan. You can find me on Twitter at NotAnotherNate. I'm on a lot of Discords, podcasts, and stuff like that. I'm not on them. I listen to a lot of podcasts, put it that way. But if someone's out there with a podcast and you want somebody, hit me up, okay? But anyway, thank you all for jumping in. Thank you for jumping in and joining us. We appreciate it. Who wants to say where they are?
I'm going to sign us out tonight, so I say you guys go,
okay.
and I'll go last.
So, hi, I'm Kylen at Kylen on Twitter and Twitch. This is my first time playing Blades. I had a lot of fun. Definitely a different system than I'm used to, but heck of a lot of fun. So I stream on my Twitch channel Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I like to play video games there. Bi-weekly Wednesdays, I'm on Playbooks and Pals, playing Masks, which, if you're not familiar with it, it is a Powered by the Apocalypse system about teenage superheroes. So our next episode is this Wednesday, so stop on by if you want. I'm also a part of an Urban Shadows actual play podcast. And Urban Shadows is like a supernatural political turf war type game, which is a heck of a lot of fun. And that is called Cape Lorelei. I play a fae there. It's a lot of fun. You can find that on iTunes, Spotify, and Bandcamp. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. Had a ton of fun.
I'll go next. My name is Hannah. You can find me on Twitter at StopThatOldWoman. I don't do anything like that. I have been in a lot of 10 Candles recently because of Saevrick. I don't know. The dude, he's so weird. Runs a lot of 10 Candles. But otherwise, I don't really do anything of note. I just like to be a murder hobo, as you saw tonight. So that's really all there is about me.
All right. Again, my name is Michael. I'm the host of the RPG Academy podcast. We also do some streaming. I've been streaming old video games, most recently Legend of Zelda, and I'm currently doing a playthrough of Metroid. We do every other week live show podcast called Detention, which is a lot of fun. And on the other Wednesdays, Tom runs a Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign. And then we also do the podcast, which has like 1,000 episodes, and we do way too many things. It's all kind of stupid. But anything and everything I do, you can find on Twitter at the RPG Academy. Thank you, Nathan, so much for running. I had a blast. And thank you, Josh, for letting me hang out with you guys tonight. I had fun.
I want to thank everybody too, Nate, for offering to run this, and Michael and Kylen and Hannah all for deciding to jump on this. Like, it was pretty well last minute. It was like, what, 6 days or something like that. We're like, we have to learn this and get this all together at one time. So that's awesome, and I really appreciate it. This has been something I've been wanting to do for so long. I've been wanting to play Blades in the Dark, so I had a great time. I can't imagine a funner crew, really, that I got to play with tonight to do this, to experience this for the first time. It was wonderful. You did an awesome job, Nathan. You really did. I really appreciate it. As for me, I'm Saevrick. I haven't been your GM tonight for a change, but I have been your best friend, I hope. What I do is I run one-shots lately anymore. That's all I end up doing. So if you check on my channel archives, I've ran 10 candles for the last 4 weeks before this. So if you like tragic horror and listen to people talk about their stories before they die, go back and check that. It's usually a groovy good time. I'm not sure what our next project is, but I'll let you know as soon as I know. Otherwise, let's see. I got I got the Twitter thing, the tweet thing. At Saevrick, I have my itch.io, itch.io. I always bother Hannah, I think, every time I say that. I have a game I've written on there. If you'd like to go check that out. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. I think that's all I got going on. So, I had so much fun tonight, guys. Thank you for playing. Really, it's awesome.
This was really a lot of fun.
It was.
Like I really liked everything about the system, and Nathan, how you kind of guided us through it, knowing that we aren't all like super experienced Blade players. So it was a really good time.
I don't think any of us had played this before, had we?
Right.
No,
I think yeah, Nathan, like this was a great game for something that we were totally freaking new to. Like you did a great job, man.
Thank you. Again,
For sure.
it's all about buying in and wanting to do stuff. And you all were always able to jump in and say, yeah, here's what I want to do, or here's what's next. That's what makes Blades cool. Is honestly, I've said this before, but it feels like more of a player when you're the GM. It feels like you're playing the game with the players much more than controversial me versus them. It just feels different when you're playing this as Blades, because I'm reacting what you're all choosing to do. So also, again, I've run this. I've done one shots now of Blades 6 or 8 times, something like that, and I'm always looking on my Twitter for more. So if you follow me on Twitter and you see that I'm asking for people, feel free to jump in and say, yeah, you want to jump in and run. I run off Twitch all the time, so always looking to do that, and probably will do more.
I mean, I've already got the overlay already, so I'm just saying.
I mean,
If he wants to
just
play some more
saying.
Blaze in the future, you know.
It is
just
a
saying.
fun campaign, mini campaign, just
Right.
to let you know.
So if anybody
So,
here wants to come
it's a
back for
fun
maybe
campaign?
a second time,
It's awesome.
Wait, did he say it's a fun campaign, Josh?
We'll talk.
I think he said it was at least a 10 series. I'm not sure.
My people will call your people. We'll figure it
Call
out.
my people. Sounds good. We'll
No.
talk behind the scenes then.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or any fun moments you want to talk about tonight, or you just say, screw this, get me the hell out of here? I am done talking tonight. Massive silence. Always a proper answer. Excellent. So we will let everybody go. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by and watching us. And thanks again to everybody here. I really appreciate you. So have a great night, and we'll see you for the next game.
Bye, squeakers.
Bye.
Quick.